Episode 47 of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast. My name is Deonte. I'm joined by my brother Dane Beasley. My
Got
guy
him.
Dane, how are you doing
I'm pretty
this
good.
evening?
Pretty good, man. Started off on the right foot. Get you to slip up. That's my goal. If I can get you to slip up at least once or twice a day, then my day is met. So I'm good.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. You got me again. Next time you will not though. The Duo Sports and Stuff podcast powered by Blue Wire Hustle. Before we introduce our next guest, we have another one. We'd like to say that you can. What were you saying, Dane?
Oh no, I was writing a note to myself that you said you wouldn't be back
Uh-huh.
in episode
Nah,
48,
you
but it's
you
gonna happen again.
you got jokes. Give us a 5-star review on Apple, rating, all that good stuff, and that will help us get ears to our podcast to ears that they can listen to the duo, man. So, without further ado, I feel like there's no other way to introduce this guy than by doing this.
Definition of Steve's. It be styling with ease, dude. Be rock. Play them the beat and Steve's homie.
Oh, snap.
Swagger is such a necessity. Not even Lionel will try to mess with me. Double knot tie, top siding in the breeze. Styling with these. Baby, I'm a Steve.
man.
My name is KJ the Great. It's my job to eliminate those who replicate what they see if what they see is not me. Okay,
I had
let me take a
bars,
breath and
bro.
Bars, my guy KJ Kenneth-Nwosa, bro. You know I had to do it.
Had to.
Oh,
You know I had to
man.
do it. How you doing,
much
man?
Appreciated, man. Throwback, man. You know, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing good. You know, out here in
Yeah.
Alabama. But yeah, man, I'm a long time listener. First time guest.
Caller.
But yeah, first time caller. But it's pretty awesome to see the progression y'all have been experiencing now on episode 47, which is crazy. And you have this nice little contraption, this nice little app you got going on, and you said powered by something. What was
Blue
powered
Wire
by
Hustle,
what?
man. It's like the little network we're part of,
Oh,
like
man.
sports podcast network, like-minded other creators and stuff collaborate and bounce ideas off each other to try to
All right, Joe
grow the-
Budden. All right, talk about it,
I know, right? Hey, can't mention me with Joe right now, man. That man,
Yeah. I
You
might
know,
be
they-
out of a
they going
job.
through
I
it.
might be out of a job. You
Yeah.
get your joke.
they going through it right now, man.
Oh,
Appreciate
man.
you coming on, bro. And, of course, congratulations once again. My guy is head team physician for UTSA Athletics, man. So,
Huge.
we had to get you to come on and talk about that and a lot of other stuff going on in the sports world, sports medicine world and stuff like that. So, definitely appreciate you coming on, man. A lot of the time, like on past few episodes, Dane gets tired of me talking about Baylor because I'm always repping
Wait a minute.
the Bears athletically and
You're not just gonna mischaracterize me in front of my face like I'm just not right here.
oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. Definitely gonna do that. But for you, man, what was your experience like at Baylor as far as being like at a PWI and being like a black kid trying to make it through?
Yeah, man. I really loved my experience at Baylor. It was, I mean, the first time I ever heard about Baylor, I think I wrote on my Twitter, I tweeted it out, was when the women's national team won in 2005. That was the first time I ever heard about Baylor. I liked the colors. I was like, oh, nice. What's cool is this? And it's like, it's not a UT, it's not a UNT. It was kind of something that was different. And I found out it was in a place called Waco, which was pronounced, I guess it was pronounced Waco. So, that was my first exposure. And then I went there for like a little summer camp thing. And, I really enjoy the aspects of like higher education plus developing your Christian faith at the same time. And then when I went there, it was like a time where I was able to mature and pretty much like experience all these different adversities, but be able to come through at the end was was pretty great. And I swear I swear I didn't sleep because
Bro.
I didn't sleep because I was only there for 2 years because I came in with 2 years of college credit, but I wanted to maximize everything I could possibly do on campus, and it was insane. It was absolutely insane.
That's crazy because, bro, like I mean, I met you because next door you were always hanging out with Eric and Regis and all of them.
Yeah, playing the
And
Xbox. Yeah.
right, playing the game. But other than that, I always saw you in the library, man. I'm like, man, this dude is
Going
grinding.
places.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to my next question, man. On your IG post when you announced that you accepted the position at UTSA, you said after 15 years of studying, testing, and training, this is a dream come true. Like, it's a simple question, but like, how? Like,
Yeah. I mean, like when you this is, you have to really look at the journey to become a physician, and it's really, really tough. And it's really it's a grind. It's something that not a lot of people can get through. And I feel it's something it's very overlooked, because yes, at the end of the day, when you get to your job, you get paid well and you get all this and you get to start your lifestyle, but you have to be accustomed to delayed gratification. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So right when people are graduating from college, you're going into med school, and then you're paying about almost $50,000 worth of med school a year, while people are over there gaining $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and you're kind of like investing in yourself a little bit.
mm-hmm,
So 15 years ago, I was finished off my sophomore year in high school, and there was a program called Texas Academy of Math and Science at UNT that I applied to, and me and my dad discussed that it was the best opportunity for me to become a physician because I'll be surrounded by like-minded students. And that academy was about like 150, 200 like gifted and talented students in Texas, and they're all from India, they're all from the Plano area, mostly from the Plano area, but they all had Indian or like Korean or Chinese heritage, and it was just so competitive of in terms of like, okay, did you get 100 on this test? Did you not get? And I was surrounded by these geniuses that ended up going to Yale and Brown and all this stuff, but
yeah,
it put in my
Wow.
it allowed me to be collegial with people that had aspirations of becoming physicians, and be able to kind of pick their brain of, okay, what do you guys know about this? What do you guys know about this? Because it seemed like all of us, the main reason why we became a physician is because our parents put it in our head, hey, you're going to be a doctor one day. They're coming out from overseas and they're like saying, you're going to be a doc one day. You're going to, bring our family out of the trenches and do all that stuff. So to be able to form those relationships with those guys, and like now most of my high school classmates are doctors now, or are in residency now. It's kind of it's very it's very rewarding to see, but it's a grind. Like you said,
yeah.
you saw me in the library, man. I slept in the
Moody all
library so
day.
many times.
Club Moody.
Moody, I slept there. I
Yeah,
slept on the couch, like in between uh like
Yeah.
when I have a test, like a couple of days before, I would sleep in the library and then wake up and study and then sleep there, and then I'll just be doing whatever I'm doing, messing around with people
yeah.
throughout the day.
And
But
that's
yeah.
not to cut you off, but like, man,
Mhm.
that's amazing to me because I saw you in the library, but I saw you other places too. Like you did the music thing every now and then, and I'm like, bro, how is he able to do all of these things and study and get like straight A's and leave Baylor in 2 years? Like that's what I was always admired about with you, bro. Is just like, man, you were very versatile and you were able to, grasp and do different things at the same time, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough because not only did I do the music, I had the opportunity to be on that Baylor recording label,
Yeah.
but I also did something called God, I think it was called Discipleship Now, where we were like a traveling worship team that would go to like different First Baptist churches around the area, and I was with Jacob Hooter,
Mm-hmm.
so we would perform like do like praise and worship every once in a while around the area, and then I was a yell leader. So, and that was
Dude, I forgot about that.
that was the craziest one because that was the one that was unexpected because there was this one girl that was me and QP Quentin.
Mhm.
We were friends with her, and she wanted to try out to be a cheerleader. And she was like, "Well, I need guys to come over and be a part of be a part of this? Because they don't have a lot of guys. So if I get a bunch of guys to come and try out, then I'll be able to make the team. And so like there was me, Quentin, and I think like two other guys. We didn't know anything about cheerleading, anything about the lifting up and doing the
Mm-hmm.
stunts and everything. And so we all tried out. All the guys made it, and then the girl didn't make it.
Oh
And
no.
I and I haven't seen that girl ever since, man. I haven't seen her. All I know is that I was on the sideline. I got my free gear. But
Yeah.
it was still intense, man, because we still had to do two-a-days. Like we woke up at 6 a.m. We had to go work out, do work with the football coaches on our strength and conditioning, and then we had practice in the afternoon. And then on top of that, I was taking 15 hours of upper level biology that that last semester, and it was intense, man. It was intense.
Shoot.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
man. Well, hopefully, old girl isn't watching and listening to this podcast, man. 'Cause that's gut wrenching,
Hey yo,
man.
thanks, appreciate it.
Sheesh, that's crazy. Talk about coming full
Yeah,
circle, like.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it was something else. It was something else.
so you touched upon basically the foundation that was laid for you when you were in high school to where you're at, or basically where you're at right now. Now, what made you, or what inspired you to chase the career field specifically with sports as an emphasis?
Yeah. I think, what originally, when it comes down to like originally becoming a doctor, my parents were very, my parents were a key factor of like saying that, not telling me a reason why, but saying that, you're meant to be, or you're, especially when you're foreign, you have to be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer, right? One of those three things. So my parents were just saying you're meant to be a doctor. Then my dad handed me a book, Think Big, by Dr. Our Gifted Hands by Dr. Benjamin Carson. And like seeing Ben Carson, like seeing a black man as a physician, like created an image in my head that this is possible, and like that is one of the biggest things is understanding the importance of having a role model that looks like you, and that's one of the crucial reasons why opportunity is such a big, 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 big thing of providing opportunities for those that are not represented in certain fields, and those that are not represented you know certain areas, because you never know who you can encourage to follow up and
Mm,
support that dream. Like if Dr. Carson wasn't able to do that, I don't know if I will be able to sustain this journey in becoming a doctor, because I look at him,
mm,
I'm like, okay, well, one black guy did it, maybe I can do it too in the long run. And so that was a crucial part of becoming a doctor. And then as I've always loved sports. Sports is a huge factor in my life, whether playing it, watching it, or video games. Like only video games I play are sports video games. Like FIFA. I used to be the king of FIFA back in the Baylor days.
That's
You know,
questionable, bro.
NCAA football,
Yo,
Madden.
KJ had this dynasty on NCAA. Bro, it was like 100. Well, he did it like for 100 years. The same dynasty. He used
Hey
to
yo,
hit me
go
up.
Big Blue. It's
Yeah, with
Michigan,
Michigan, he
baby.
used to hit me up like, "Yeah, I got this dynasty." Like he won like national championship after national championship over and over. I like that. He's like the only dude I know that like was committed to the same dynasty year after year. It's
man,
crazy.
it's Nick Saban on the sticks.
Undefeated, man.
Facts.
Undefeated, bro. And yeah, so it's like, having that sports, and then I remember I was sitting down watching Sports Center, and I saw Dr. James Andrews on ESPN or something talking about an injury or something, and it said like, oh, team physician. I was like, okay, I want to be that guy. Like I want to be a team physician. That sounds pretty awesome. Being on the sideline, and then evaluating players and stuff like that. So originally I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be an orthopedic surgeon, because that was the only thing I knew to be a team physician. But the OR is not my personality. Being in the operating room, my personality's sitting in front of somebody, talking about them, and being in that clinic setting. So I was able to do research and start a sports medicine interest group at my medical school at UTMB in Galveston. And I saw that there's different avenues to become a team physician, and one of them was through family medicine, which fit me like a glove because I like everything. I like knowing everything. I like talking and promoting health outside of just like immediate results, but also changing people's lives from a holistic approach. Um, so that was when I saw that I can be a team physician. I was like, okay, well, let me get on top of that. I'm gonna go to residency knowing that I want to be a sports med doc, and I want to go into a fellowship to do a sports medicine fellowship. And I'm at, Andrews right now, which is pretty cool, seeing like this person that inspired me. I mean, I've only seen him a couple of times, I'm still waiting for like my autograph and a handshake, but it's pretty cool to kind of experience this opportunity, man.
Man, with the past year, over a year and a half, it's been crazy with everything going on with the coronavirus and shutting down sports and the return of sports. So with everything that's happened, how do you think it would change the way health, like both physical and mental, the aspect of it, how it would change on a sports landscape or how it's seen?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we realized with this COVID pandemic was the importance of being healthy, like in general, the importance of having, a healthy, decreasing your likelihood to getting comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, a high cholesterol, and how those three things can increase your mortality rate and morbidity rate when you were diagnosed with COVID. So promoting health and promoting healthy lifestyles is going to be crucial. But the crazy thing about it is that that's not really promoted, or that's not really supported by insurance, which is the payer the payer for healthcare. And people that promote these healthy lifestyles, when you talk about primary care physicians, are one of the least reimbursed specialties uh, for it. So we have to kind of shift our focus on how we want to focus on how we want to treat people and how we want to do preventative care. Like a gym membership should be on your insurance. Like insurance should be paying part of your gym membership. Insurance should be considering, okay, when you go to a dietitian, we want you to go to a dietitian every once in a while, because once you do that, like you are decreasing the likelihood that you're going to have different things pop up later in life. Therefore, they're not spending that much money on doing different surgeries, spending time in the hospital, spending time in the ICU. So we really have to shift our focus on this preventative medicine and trying to create healthy lifestyles uh, for everybody.
Right, right. And you kind of mentioned like um sort of like promoting healthy lifestyles. What responsibilities do you think like pro athletes, because they're the face of what America likes as far as sports, and they're seen often in commercials and promotions and stuff, and do you feel like they have a responsibility to promote healthy lifestyles and advocating for great public health?
Man, athletes have so much of a burden, man. I always think of Charles Barkley and like the I am not a role model, like because athletes have such a big burden. They have to, because they're on the forefront, and because they're the poster child for pretty much everything. They literally have so much on their back to carry in terms of promoting healthy lifestyle, being on the forefront for social justice, being faces for their franchises, for their agents, supporting their own family. So we have to kind of step back and create other avenues and other faces for healthcare, other faces for promoting healthy lifestyles. And also, when you look at it, we also have to create other faces for like social justice and social justice changes. Like sports is such a huge avenue and such a huge vehicle for change that right now athletes have to do this. They have to be that proponent for social justice and change, because if they don't, nobody else would talk about it.
Right.
Sports is the biggest distraction in America. Like that's what it is. It distracts us from the reality. So, but it's also COVID showed that sports is the most important thing in this world, in America. When Rudy Gobert did whatever he did and the NBA stopped, people took COVID seriously right then and there. They're like, okay, if the NBA stopped, then there's something happening, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and then also when you look at from the other aspect is that the only time that people actually hear black people, like general population actually hears what black people have to say is normally with these sport athletes. We don't have a we don't have a Martin Luther King Jr. We don't have a Malcolm X. We don't have people going out to the forefront with sole purpose of social justice change, and they don't have that same voice like they did before. That we have to hope that maybe LeBron James or Dame Lillard or Steph Curry will say something about this one subject, so people's ears
Yeah.
hear something about it. So it's a lot, and to say that, yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate part is that these athletes have to be advocates for everything positive, uh,
Yeah.
lifestyle wise. They have to be an advocate for promoting good health. They have to be an advocate for saying, "Hey, get vaccinated for COVID." They have to be an advocate for saying, "Hey, we want social justice change." They have to be, and it's. I can only imagine it's just so tiring.
Yeah.
But without
It
them, I don't know we can do anything.
it's so crazy. Like what you had mentioned kind of popped in my head. Like at the same time, they have such a burden. And I don't know if this is the reason, but sometimes you see athletes that, are on that stage or on that pedestal and they are trying to be a voice, but they say something that, you know, might not be the right thing to say. Like they're trying to voice and be that big voice in sports and with everything going on in the
Yeah.
world, and they might not say the right thing. And then in the internet age, it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of goes along with it, and like being that double-edged sword. Like, man, be careful what you say. Like, know how you want to portray your message, because like it's gonna go viral in a second and they're gonna try to cancel you and get you up out of here.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, you definitely it's tough, man, because
Yeah.
we always look at it from the outside, outside looking in, but some of these athletes are the first people to go to college in their family. They're the first person to go to college. They're supporting not only their immediate family but also their outside family and friends. And then on top of that, we're expecting them to speak up and be these social justice warriors and be on the forefront of social justice change. But it really should be the people that are our scholars and our professors and faculty that are actually study this in and out, that need to be on the pedestal and the ones speaking out, and that we need to lift up their voice higher than what LeBron has to say, higher than what any musician has to say. And will that ever happen? I don't know. I don't think so. But
Yeah.
I can always hope.
Yeah. Man. So we know that stadiums nationwide are starting to open up from 50% capacity to 75%, and even at the start of the new NFL season here in 2021, we're hearing some teams are opening up to 100% capacity. So I'm not saying,
Hmm.
hey KJ,
Hmm.
if I go to a game and I catch a cold, can I blame you? I'm not saying that. But what are your thoughts on these stadiums open up to 100%? Like, is this considered safe, or what type of measures can people can expect to come in contact with enjoying their sports up close and personal?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. I think one of the sayings I'm not afraid to say is I don't know. I have no idea.
You
And
hear that, Dad? I don't know.
yeah,
KJ, I said that
it's
because my dad he'll listen to this episode in like a month, and because he's so behind on the episodes. But if
yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't know something, he won't say I don't know. You know how dads are; they always try to figure out they know something. Sorry, go ahead.
Supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
problem
yeah, but
solvers.
it's true, man. It's like I don't know. I have no idea. But there's only one thing that I'm sure of is that if I take the vaccine, I'm less likely to have symptoms and go to the hospital because of COVID. I'm less likely to spread COVID-19 to my fellow my colleagues and my friends. And the main reason why I always kind of do tongue in cheek tweets on my Twitter of us saying like, "Hey, good morning to the vaccinated and the vaccinated only," because the main reason why we're at this, the main reason why we're at this point where we can say that stadiums that can open up at 100% is because people actually went out of their way to get vaccinated, and that a certain percentage of people are being vaccinated, and that is what's truly opening up this country, and that is what is that's what's making us be able to progress, because COVID is definitely one of those things that if you don't have somebody that was diagnosed or went to the ICU or died because of it, you'll probably never know the extent of how bad it can be. My fiance, she's a traveling ICU nurse. She did COVID ICU for a year, working like 80 to 90 hours a week. And she was on the front lines of seeing people die from it, seeing people be in the ICU for 3+ months, 4+ months, 5+ months and just having that intense care, especially in the beginning when nobody knew how to treat it.
Scary.
Nobody knew if if it was what we were washing salad bags, and we were washing potato chips bags because we were afraid that it would be on the
Yeah, everything.
surfaces.
Yeah, in the groceries.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like coming from there, we have to say that okay, when we open up to 100%, if you didn't get vaccinated, just wear a mask. Like okay, if you don't want to get vaccinated, just don't wear a mask. I mean, wear a mask if you want to go out. If they say if you're not vaccinated, wear a mask. Okay, like just follow the rules. If we follow the rules and we do things in a manner that makes sense, we're going to decrease the likelihood of having that third spike, because people around the world are experiencing a third spike. When you look at India, you look at certain countries in Europe, they're having that third spike again because they laxed completely, and then it went straight up.
Yeah. I know a lot of the times when, when COVID first started and, how it was affecting a lot of the athletes in the sports and stuff, there was this thing of talking about the long-term effects as far as myocarditis. Can you kind of explain what
hmm
myocarditis is, and is that still kind of a problem and something that's being talked about right now?
Yeah. So the myocardium. So when you talk about myocarditis, you're talking about the heart. The myocardium is a certain muscle layer in the heart, and itis, like the carditis. Itis means inflammation. So you're worried about the inflammation of a muscle layer in the heart. Um, and so one of the scares, or one of the mechanism of or the symptoms of COVID is that we're worried about the inflammation of the heart and causing detrimental effects, and being shown with symptoms such as chest pain, shortness of breath, and that leading to possible, death ultimately with these athletes. Because the number one thing that you're worried about with an athlete is the number one cause of death with young collegiate athletes is sudden cardiac death, which is due to either um, an enlarged heart, or it can be due to certain um, different types of rhythms of the heart that predisposes you to have an accident, or your heart to pump in a different way that can basically you can die from it. So that's what they're worried about. They're like, okay, the number one thing we got to worry about for athletes is heart problems, and well, COVID can lead to heart problems. So how can we research this and make sure we're preventing that from progressing and that happening? So, what they did is that they did certain tests, and they ultimately did something called a cardiac MRI with certain athletes that had COVID, and they saw that there was changes within the heart that pretty much looked like myocarditis. So that's what their main worry was. But the problem with that is that we never really looked at when athletes got sick with any type of, like, say, the flu, or say mono or something like that. We never really looked to see what changes were made to the heart with the cardiac MRI with that specific diagnostic imaging before. So now we're seeing changes with COVID-19, but it could be the same type of changes that we see with the flu or we see with other viral illnesses. But because we're just been focusing on COVID-19, we're like, oh, wow, this can be a problem. So right now, in the beginning, the Big Ten, was very cautious about it, and understandably so. And side note, the public is now getting used to what science is all about. Science is about hypotheses and then making I mean, everybody should know what this is, right? This is like elementary school, right?
Science,
Hypothesis
yeah.
and then coming up with a conclusion. But it's about rolling. It's about rolling with it. It's about being wrong. It's about trying different things. But in today's Twitter world, you can't be wrong. You can't make a hypothesis. Otherwise, you're saying, "What? You said this. You're
Yeah.
wrong. You guys don't know anything." No, Dr. Fauci, blah, blah. I'm like, man, the guy's a scientist. Like, we don't know anything about COVID-19.
It's new,
Everything has to
yeah.
be done
Brand new.
in a stepwise fashion.
And it's
So
one. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like,
no,
long term, like, it's still considered like early, like, based on everything.
exactly.
We still don't know a lot, like, as far as long term, 5-10 years down the road.
Exactly. And so that's what happened with this myocarditis is that now we're looking at it and we're seeing that, okay, well, not what we thought could be a big problem probably isn't that big of a problem. There could have been changes to the heart for any viral illness, and we have to make sure we study what happens when people have flu, what happens when people have different types of viruses, and compare it to what's happening with people with COVID-19. So as of right now, as far as I see, or as what's been reported, is that luckily the athletes that have been diagnosed with COVID-19, none of them have passed away with sudden cardiac death. And that's based off of what I've seen so far on the different articles through JAMA and through all these different athletes. But they are seeing that it could possibly lead to residual changes and residual changes within the heart. So that's what we're trying to focus in and understand over the long run.
Right.
A lot of
Still
gibberish, but
in process kind of thing.
yeah, a lot of gibberish. But the number one thing is that we don't know, and we're still trying it out, and we're still trying to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Switching gears, bro. I see in the background you got a stack of shoe boxes there, and
Oh, that man, that's nothing, bro.
hey, so story time for the audience, man. So among the other things that KJ has done in his life, man, he is also a sneaker connoisseur. I can't even describe this experience with KJ I had. So I'm gonna tell this story. So KJ hit me up, was like, bro, you want to go to Austin? I can't even how many years ago was this, KJ?
And this had to be before my residency, maybe. I don't know, or yeah, probably before my. So
you were living
4
in
years, 5
Galveston,
years ago?
right? I think you're still living in Galveston.
Oh, okay. It was probably I don't know. Probably 4 or 5
Anyway,
years.
it was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer. But KJ hit me up, was like, bro, you want to go to Austin and with me to this sneaker raffle? And I was like, all right, cool. And you're trying to get, I guess, describe the the essence of what was going on there. Because I was there for the ride.
It was at Nice Kicks. It was at Nice Kicks
Austin.
That's right. And Nice Kicks Austin was probably one of the, at that time, it was probably one of the only sneaker boutiques that sold like pretty sought after sneakers. So they were having a raffle where you have a chance to win a lot of sneakers, and I was like, okay, I need some bodies.
We got
You want to
bodies.
show up, man? Yeah, I was like, yo, Deonte, if you want to show up, I need some people. I need to increase my chances. So we went down. I think I picked you up. I picked you up, and then we went down to Austin and we waited in line. Yeah, for sure.
We waited in line for the sneaker raffle. I ended up winning in the end, but the funny part of the story is
legendary.
We're in line.
Legendary part of the
We're
story.
in line, and a white kid comes up to KJ, and I don't remember the exact quote he said, but it was along the lines of, "Oh my God, man, I follow you on Twitter. Like, you're amazing, man. I'm so happy. Like, I'm happy I get to meet you kind of thing. Like KJ had like this big following on Twitter. Do you still have that Twitter account?
No, I don't.
Bro, he had like
Oh,
thousands
yeah.
of followers, and he like it was like a sneaker account where you tweeted about shoes and stuff like that, and the guy had followed you and stuff, and he was like in awe of KJ, like a celebrity had just been, you know, in his face, and he was like, "Man, I'm so happy I get to meet you. I'll follow you." I'm sitting there like, what is going on? Who is this? Like every
Man.
time I don't like KJ always surprises me, and like
Yeah,
hilarious.
because that was the time I had to hustle, man. Because
Yeah,
I was in between med school and residency, so I had like 9 months before I started residency,
yeah,
and I didn't want to get a job, and I was like, let me just try to see if I can sell sneakers because I was selling sneakers in med school a little bit, but I was like, okay, let me see if I can go full fledged and kind of flip sneakers.
yeah,
And basically, like that's when these apps called Goat and StockX came out, and which created it created an easier environment to buy and sell sneakers. So I was going like I knew like all the employees in Foot Locker, I knew all the employees at Finish Line.
plugs,
I was up in there, man, and
plugged.
it's just something light, man. It's just something light. But it was a fun time because then I got to I got to work on my own time, and I got to build up my sneaker collection. And then when I went to residency, I was just able to kind of continue to work on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
So I brought up that story to ask, like, kind of in a wider sense, like, how do you think like the sneaker culture has impacted sports, and then vice versa?
Man, without sports will be no sneakers, you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a big proponent of sneaker culture, if you wouldn't even call it a culture. It's without MJ and without what he did with the Air Jordan 1, Air Jordan 3, Air Jordan 4, in those specific moments in sports history, I wouldn't be collecting right now. I wouldn't
Mhm.
have this amount of sneakers because every like for me, sneakers are like a moment. It's like a capsule of time, and it's also like an art. It's an art, and it's like a baseball card. It's like a wearable baseball card to me. So like my all the Jordans that I have is the Jordans that like I can say like, okay, Michael, this is the flu game Jordan, right?
Mhm.
Where he against the Utah Jazz. This is the game when he shot over this Jordan 4 is the 4 that he shot over Craig Elo in the Cavs. This is the first Jordan that he wore in this is the first Jordan that he wore in 1986. This is also the prototype Jordan. Like I'm collecting like stuff that were like the prototypes, and also the Adidas that Michael Jordan wore. And then right now I'm working on my Kobe collection. I'm working on my LeBron James collection before he retires, and the price shoots up because the value of my sneakers after the Last Dance it shot up by like 300%.
That's
That's because
crazy.
the craze went up. I was like, okay, that's cool with me, man. I mean, I got like, okay, that's sweet. I already got my pairs in. Y'all just
Yeah.
catching up. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important that like the cross the way when hip hop, sneakers, and sports they all are intertwined in everything. That's why Kanye and his Air Yeezy with Nike, and now his Yeezy 350s, 700s, and 750s
Seeing
with
a lot of
Adidas.
partnerships too with all these
Yeah,
artists. Yeah.
that's why they're able to thrive because this is all about this is all about hip hop culture. This is all about Black culture, and it's about like it's a celebration of it, in my opinion, and
Mhm.
that's why it's just so fun to me.
Didn't I see you won an award, right, at your fellowship for best sneakers or something like that?
I won an award.
Did you
I don't
not?
know
I
about
thought I
that.
saw that. I thought it said like
Oh
best
no.
sneakers. I thought you had retweeted something like that. Maybe I'm
Oh
tripping.
no, it was probably like me just wearing like a sneaker for like a special game day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So you
probably
gonna
for a
keep
special
rocking
game day.
sneakers at UTSA?
Hey yo, I want
Will
to
they
rock
let you?
sneakers, man. I want.
Okay.
It's not about letting me, man. It's a part of it's a part of it. Cause like, hey, first thing is like first thing. when I went to residency, I talked to I talked to my the chair of family medicine,
Mhm.
and I said, man, I can't wait for you to see all my sneakers I'm going to wear during clinic. And then she's like, oh, okay. Oh, all right. So it becomes, it
She
not
didn't
only
even
becomes,
know.
She had no
yeah, I'm
idea.
like, because I'm not going to say like, I'm going to wear sneakers no matter what, but it's once you make, if you make something look good, you know,
Mhm.
in terms of like keeping it clean, keeping it matching up, and it becomes a talking point, and it
Mm.
becomes like something that makes the patients feel comfortable. And also for me, it's also it provides a cool factor that these athletes that I'm treating, you know, whether they be in middle school, high school, collegiate, they say like, "Wow, you can actually wear sneakers and be a doc. Being a doc doesn't mean you're an old white guy
Man.
with white hair. That
Right.
being a
Man.
doc is a young black guy that wears Jordans and is on the sideline celebrating this game with me." So like in my perspective, that's what it's about. It's like you don't have to be a basketball player, or you don't have to be a rapper or something to wear what you want to wear or afford what you want to afford. You can be a physician. You can still be part of sports. And that's what I'm most excited about, is like being able to be that Ben Carson to certain people, that people can say like, "Oh yeah, I remember this one doc that I saw. He was wearing sneakers and he had a tie on, and he knew his stuff, and he was really good, and I want to be something like him." So that's why that's a little bit of the that's a little bit of percentage of why I wear sneakers, but most of it's to stun on fools, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
Steve's right.
Man.
yeah,
That's
man.
that's huge. Like that's so like it's historic. It's very like it reminds me of things coming full circle when you're aware of the impact that you can have because of the impact someone else had on you, and you're knowing
Yeah,
the power of imagery and representation. That's
yeah,
huge, man. That is huge. So
yeah, man.
man, that's huge. Like,
That's big
and then the
time.
way you broke it down, I'm sorry, I'm fanboying out right now. You broke it down like you basically have a chapter of a history book on your feet as you're going through your day with a lesson ready to
Yeah,
be bam bam thrown at somebody. Just like that's. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's
exactly. Yeah.
that's.
Hey, yo, I mean, the point is that anytime I kind of rock sneakers,
Mhm.
people are always kind of, especially the first time I go into either a clinic, or they're kind of like, oh, what is this? Oh, nice, nice. But then they start liking it, man. They
Mhm.
start wanting to
Yeah.
get it. They start wanting they start wanting to wear sneakers because it's I mean, it's first of all, it's comfortable. Like, why do I have to wear dress shoes all the time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you look good, if you're matching well, if you look presentable to a patient, and
Mhm.
they say, "Oh, awesome, cool shoes." I remember I had a patient writhing in pain. She looked down at my sneakers. She's like, "Oh, those are nice," and then went back into writhing in pain again. I'm like, I'm like,
That slight moment of
yeah, I'm
appreciation.
like,
Ooh, them
yeah, I'm like,
Space Jams.
all right, man, all right, that's cool, that's cool.
Those are space
Ooh,
jams.
those Space Jams. Ah.
Those space. Oh
um,
man,
That's exactly how I
that's
pictured
me
it
cool.
when you
too.
said it, though. Like, ah, well, those nice.
Oh, the pain, the death, the disparity. Them Space Jams. Okay.
Oh man,
Oh
that's funny,
man,
bro.
that's
That's
funny.
hilarious.
okay.
Oh,
That's
so you
hilarious, man.
you talked about. I know you told us stories a little bit with like our Baylor friends about your experiences at different places you've been on and going in the Alabama locker room and stuff like that. Was there any moment like over the 15 years, all the studies, all the places that you've been to that just like blown you away? Like, man, I can't believe I'm here right now in this moment.
Yeah, I think that I think over the past couple of years is I'm realizing like this, like I can't believe God has given me this opportunity to do what I'm doing. And it's actually kind of scary, to be honest. It's like
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up, you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like, especially with this route, or this path that he's led me on. And it's also like understanding the journey to get to where I am right now, that I can't. Somebody may look from the outside looking in of like seeing me like say that, I get a, I get a new car, I get my Tesla, that I've been wanting for a while, and they see me in Tesla like, oh, this guy thinks he has it, but they don't know I've been riding that Kia Soul for 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't know that I slept in Moody Library for,
Yeah.
overnight for so many years. And it's like, it's like I have to, I'm very grateful, especially even finding my fiance who's been very supportive, and to be in a situation where, my parents are very supportive and are, that's lifting me up, and then also being in this at this clinic named after James Andrews, who I looked at ESPN and said, "Oh, I want to be that guy someday." And to see him a couple of times, and to be at the, University of Alabama, and to see what they do, it's kind of like, whoa, I have to make sure I soak this all in, and then be able to use that, and then be greater be greater than what I'm seeing, because I feel like especially, I'm blown away when I went to the University of Alabama. Number one, that's like the you understand why recruits go there, and for me, uh, I feel like I relate to those recruits and those at college athletes so much, because I'm only in Alabama for one reason, and they're only in Alabama for one reason. I'm in Alabama to be the best sports medicine physician I could possibly be, and I don't have ties to Alabama. I don't know anybody in Alabama. I want to be in Alabama? No, I want to be in Texas
Mm.
because I'm a Texan. I want to be there. The same thing with when you look at somebody like Najee Harris. He's from California. He's going to Alabama for one reason only: to be the best running back that he can possibly be, to compete against the best that he can possibly be. And they're gonna have to take a cut on their lifestyle in order to get to where they want to what they truly want. So that's something that I'm able to kind of look at parallel and try to pretend that I'm a recruit, and using this time to understand that I'm going to use this opportunity to get where I need to be, and to go to that next level, because when you look at my fellowship, and one of the things, and this is also important for anybody that wants to do anything, and anybody that wants to go to the next level, you have to look to see where those people are at. So if you look at the top of your profession, you have to see what's their resume, what does their CV look like, where do they go to school, where do they intern, where do they work, and then when I looked at all these people, everything pointed to one uh, institute, one fellowship, which was this fellowship in Alabama. Some people can go anywhere else, but when you look at this fellowship in Alabama, and you look at who are the team physicians all across, all across the nation, to be honest, all across the nation, they all come from this one institute. You know what I'm saying? This one fellowship. So that's why I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I do everything to go there. And then, because of the sacrifices that I made, personally, financially, and also spiritually, because people don't know that when I was back in Baylor, I went to church every Sunday in Dallas to play the drums, and then I would drive that same Sunday night to go to school on Monday. So I was doing 4 hour
Wow.
round trips on Sundays, because God has only given me one talent, in which is to play the drums and to praise, to do praise and worship. Everything else is whatever, icing on the top. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if I'm a physician or not. If I'm not doing that, if I'm not praising His name, then that I won't be able to be where I am. So because of all these sacrifices, I I I have to put myself in position to succeed. So, to answer your question, like, looking at just being able to look at the University of Alabama, and to see the way that they push their players, to see their facilities, to see like because they're to see how much money they're pouring into that football program, because everybody's buying in. Because you have people that can start anywhere else in the nation, but everybody wants to go there because they want to compete and be the best. And that's the kind of culture that I want to bring in sports medicine when I go to San Antonio. It's just that I want to be the best in San Antonio. I want to promote that that culture of competition, that culture of making sure that you have your ability intact, and then providing opportunities for everybody else. Because to revert back to my fellowship, if somebody didn't provide, one of the things I did also, I looked at all their past fellows, and I tried to see if there was any African Americans that they had. I just want to make
Mhm.
sure that it's safe. My little green
Yeah.
book. I just want to make sure that it's safe to be
Right.
there. But then I saw that they actually, especially in the '90s or early 2000s, that they actually went out and had a diverse fellowship class, and and because of that, and allowing me an opportunity to go there, shows how important it is to provide opportunities for those that are less represented, that are underrepresented, because you never know who's looking in the future that wants to do what you want to do, or who wants to be a part of the sports medicine field. And yeah, man, I kind of went on like a tangent, but
Hey,
I have to
No,
say
you
my two
good, bro.
pieces. You know what
no, 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 no.
I'm
It's
saying?
all those nuggets you're throwing out there, and it just makes you just
Yeah,
appreciate, the journey that you've been on as we're sitting on the sideline cheering you on and just seeing everything unfold, and of course just finding out random new things like, dang, this man, he's the one
yeah.
type of.
I'm definitely like, I've known KJ since '09, and I'm learning things right now, bro. It's
And most
crazy.
of the stuff I know about
Yeah,
KJ, I
man.
learned from Deonte. So it's like, getting all the information from the horse's mouth is not only rewarding, but it also just adds a lot of value and appreciation to what you do and the career path that you're on. Gassing up, gassing up, gassing up.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
so
yeah, man.
the question I have for you in terms of your career and where it's brought you to now is being recently named as the UTSA's team physician. Can you tell a little bit about what you might be doing on a day to day basis in your role that you're looking forward to there?
Yeah, yeah, for UTSA, I never thought. First of all, like it was always my dream to be a team physician, whether or not it be high school, college, pro sports, because one of the things that I noticed, especially in residency, was the importance of sport within the community, especially the high school. Like even when I was the team physician, one of the resident team physicians for the high school in Galveston, like how the community rallies around that team, and then I'm able to know the players, and then I see their mom or see their grandma in clinic. It creates a form of trust and understanding of like, okay, this guy's taking care of my kid on the sideline, and he makes sure that he's doing well. So when it comes to managing my hypertension and diabetes, I trust him to do that. So now to have the opportunity to do that on the Division 1 level is pretty awesome. And the opportunity came by from my fellowship and from a former alumni, saying that, hey, we need somebody in San Antonio. And I did the interview process, and I interviewed at a couple of places. And San Antonio, in my opinion, when it comes to sports medicine, is probably the most sophisticated. That area is the most sophisticated area in Texas when it comes to understanding the structure of sports medicine. And as a team physician, you're only part of the pie, I guess, the piece of the pie in terms of providing complete coverage for an athlete. A lot of that chunk is going to be due to the athletic trainers. So if you don't have good athletic trainers, you'll never have a good sports medicine program. And then as a primary care physician and as a head team physician, what I do, I look at the athlete from A to Z. You know, it sometimes I'm still working on the actual example I'm gonna use, because I always say like, okay, I'm the
Mhm.
point guard when it comes to like sports medicine, and then um I facilitate the athlete's care. So like I can see an athlete when he gets injured. I can the and to be the best is you have to be able to diagnose properly. You have to be able to diagnose quickly, and then provide treatment quickly and provide rehabilitation so they can come back quickly. Like if that's how Alabama does it, and that's how you ultimately be the best. You have to have your P's and Q's. You have to be able to say this is what it is, and do it, and be open, have your whole schedule open, and be able to provide and treat for these athletes. So once you see the athlete, you see what needs to be done. It's like, okay, I can do this for this athlete. I can either provide give them a non-steroid, an anti-inflammatory, or say try this topical therapy. I could send them to PT, which is like my power forward. I could send them to
Mhm.
the orthopedic surgeon who is like, the shooting guard who gets all the glory, gets all the, the threes and it gets everybody pumped up. Or I can, go back and say that I can take it to the rim myself and treat this athlete and get him on his way. So, but all that is, the athletic trainer is like a center in the 90s who like does all the dirty work, who knows
Yeah.
everything, who knows the plays and does what they need to do. Because if you don't have that centerpiece, you're not going to do well. So, it's important, as a team physician, I'm just going to be facilitating and getting information about athletes, getting information about what needs to be done, and then facilitating in a process that will provide the best treatment for these athletes, because we're looking to win the Conference USA. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm no longer I'm no longer a Baylor alum. I'm UTSA
Right.
all the way. You know what I'm saying? Go Birds
Birds
up.
up. I don't remember if I told you, but Karina's close friend, her brother is the kicker for UTSA, Hunter Duplessis. So I know
Oh,
Hunter
is he?
pretty well.
He's right now. Right now, he's a
Yeah,
kicker.
yeah.
Is he the one that's
He's
like on
all
the
conference
yeah
kicker.
all conference preseason? Our kicker and
Yeah,
punter.
that's Karina's one of Karina's close friends' brother.
Oh
So I
wow,
met him
that's pretty
once and
awesome.
I've been following him. He's doing pretty well, man. He has a shot to make it to the league. Like if not, getting a tryout at least. He's like one of their pretty good players as far as keeping them in games and stuff like that. So when you get to meet him, tell him I said what's up and
Oh yeah,
I
for sure, man.
that I know you.
I know this guy that
Uh,
knows you, sir.
yeah, I know. But man, we appreciate you so much coming on, bro. Like we're definitely I feel like I was, like I said before, man, I was learning things that I didn't even know, and I've known you for almost 12 plus years, man. So
Yeah,
we're
man.
very proud of you. I love you so much, and very in awe of what you've done thus far, bro. Like truly, truly. And every time we have a guest, we like to give them an opportunity to say anything to our audience, anybody that might be listening to this episode of the podcast.
Yeah, man. Well, shout out to my fiance Crystal. I know she's listening, and she's probably
Hey,
promoting.
congratulations again.
Yeah, she's probably promoting this right now. Uh, yeah, man. I mean, this is not like for me to like, you know, put a, you know, put a chain on myself, or, try to pump gas myself or pump myself up. But this is like understanding the process for everybody, and like I always say, if I can do it, anybody else can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when it came to the music thing, like part of me doing the music, like, was to show that, hey man, it doesn't matter what other people think, just go out and do it, and just go out
Yeah.
and, I performed at all these little places and
Hey,
it's
remember
like, but it was,
I was on stage with KJ one time at Dia de Loso, which is like the Baylor Fun Day at the end of the year. I was just on stage with KJ, just like his
Just
hype
there.
man, bro. Literally,
that
there's
was
a
the
picture of
best,
me like
man.
this to the
That was,
crowd.
that was the best, man.
Shameless
That
plug.
was literally like,
Yeah,
that was
I got it.
literally the.
I don't think Dane's seen that picture. I gotta show it to Dane.
Oh yeah, that was probably the best picture, man.
Yeah,
But like it just yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of opportunity, and once you understand that talent that God has given you, don't hide it underneath anything and expect to say like, oh well, it's still here. Go out there and multiply it. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and be the best that you can be. And um like for me, like I can't, and I always, and right now my philosophy right now is that you can be one type of Anthony, and this goes back to like my bar days when I created a bar. When I created bars, like you can be one type of Anthony, you can be a Davis or a Bennett. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You can either be, yeah, I can, you have a chance. You're a first round pick. You can be all hyped up. You can turn out to be Anthony Bennett, or you can turn out to be Anthony Davis. What's the difference between Anthony Davis and Bennett? They have the same opportunity to be in a first round pick. One continues to work harder, even though they're in the league. When you see busts, it's because they're happy to be in the league. They're happy to say, "Oh, I think I made it." But then there's people that go in and out practicing because they want to get better. They want to be the best. They want to continue to they want to continue to progress. They're not happy with just saying I'm an NBA player. They want to be an all-star. They want to be a 4-time MVP. They want to be continuing to progress in their field. So that's the position that I'm at right now. I'm like, am I going to be happy because I'm team position of this, or am I going to continue to be hungry to push myself forward? And God willing, that's going to continue to happen, and then we can continue to come together and celebrate. And as this podcast progresses, becomes nationally known and everything, man.
There you go.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
KJ, Kenneth-Nwosa, bro.
You know what I'm
Appreciate you
saying,
so
man?
much, bro.
Man. Like,
No
Most
problem,
definitely.
man.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so
Can't
much.
say
That
that
is
man.
KJ Kenneth-Nwosa, episode 47 of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast. You can listen to this episode and all of our other episodes on any digital streaming platform, as well as our website, www.theduosportsandstuffpodcast.com. We out.
Oh yeah, and support your friends. Support your friends, man. And whatever they're doing, support them 100%. If Deonte, if the Baylor gang didn't support me, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, man. But you guys supported me from day one, and I'm going to continue to support this podcast and continue to support everything else that my friends do. So continue to support your friends.
Huge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. We out this thing.
Hey, can't see it right now, but I'm sitting here crisscross applesauce on my ottoman as you were, just telling us about everything. I can't wait I can't wait to hear about this, or just hear about where you're at, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, and just having the conversation about it. 'Cause it's inspiring, and it lets people know that, the sky is the limit,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, no problem.